Welcome to Huddle Up,
Brought to you by the Fields Auto Group.
Jaguars senior writer John Oehser, NFL Network analyst and former Jaguar Bucky Brooks, and senior reporter J.P. Shadrick bring you the latest on your Jacksonville Jaguars. Huddle Up starts right now.
And welcome in. It is Huddle Up with Bucky Brooks, brought to you by Fields Auto Group Jacksonville. See Fields first, Jacksonville's premier luxury auto group. Go to fieldsauto.com. JP Shadrick with John Oehser. We're at the Hyundai Studios in the Miller Electric Center. Bucky Brooks with us out in Los Angeles in the afterglow of the 2025 NFL Draft. Bucky, the draft is done, but the work is really only just beginning. Good afternoon. How are you?
What's going on? What's happening, fellas?
Talking ball.
Do you ever get this question, Bucky? Hey, what do you do until next March now?
Oh, well, I'm glad that you asked, John, because I'm already working on not a mock draft, but because people have talked about how ballyhooed the quarterback class is next year,
Okay.
We're already beginning to look at Arch Manning and company and what could be as we cast our eyes towards the next collection of franchise quarterbacks to hit the league.
Has Arch done anything yet?
No, it's the greatest myth that we've ever seen. He's played in 2 games. I mean,
Right.
he has 9 touchdowns.
I'll tell you, dude, he was
2
born.
interceptions. And everyone has made him the presumed number 1 pick in next year's draft. He's played 3 games. What are we doing?
And that is a major difference, by the way, from the other 2 Mannings who played, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
Peyton was in, his 3rd game freshation year?
Yeah,
I was actually there.
And and then really took off his sophomore year, and then,
I think Eli played 3. I mean, it was
it's a lot.
Peyton played 4 years, which now would be no way.
He came back to school for his senior year.
Yeah.
He was going to go.
Well, the expectation is that he won't be in 2026. He'll be in 2027. Like, people around the family have said, he won't be next year. It'll be the year after before he would seriously entertain entering the draft. But that won't stop us from talking about it. Like, after we squeezed we wring everything out of the Sanders rag, we're going to squeeze all the juice out of the Manning little orange.
That's the way it works.
The
machine never stops.
That's right.
Never, ever stops. Well, Travis Hunter is a Jaguar, and he has the most jersey sales of any rookie, Bucky. I'm not shocked really by that at all. Are you?
Not shocked. I'll say, for disclosure, I was exposed to Travis Hunter when he was in high school, and he was a YouTube sensation based on his 7-on-7 feats. I remember sitting in the den watching these 7-on-7 games with my son, and he is doing what he's always done. And I think he might have played for Cam Newton's team. He played for some other teams, but he was always an electric 2-way performer. And in building that following, it was really a cult-like following in high school. He continues to grow it when he goes to Jackson State. And then the social media machine that Coach Prime and his team and all the people around those programs, Jackson State and then Colorado, have been, he is a ready-made superstar before he even steps onto the field in Jacksonville. And that's just a generational thing. It's different, but he is certainly a special athlete, and he certainly cultivated a following based on all the things he's done on and off the air.
So let me ask you, Bucky, you follow this closer than I do because, I obviously am not tied into the 18-year-old YouTube sensation. I'm just not. So is this, I give Travis Hunter a lot of credit for this. I assume that there are other high school football players who draw attention on YouTube, but the fact that he has continued every step of the way to be the star and to produce, it sort of ties in a little bit to what James Gladstone was talking about the other day with, James Gladstone really likes players who up in competition and continue to perform. It's a different sort of topic, but is Hunter unique in that a rock star from the time he was a junior in high school, clearly, is this a new thing, I guess is what I'm asking. And are we going to see this? Is this what the old man, is this what the world's coming to? But that's not what I'm saying. But Is this going to be a
I
thing?
think so. Yeah, I think we have to get more comfortable with this thing. And it's funny because like the Shadrick conversation kind of dominated everything over draft weekend. And I would say that some of what Shadrick dealt with is what we all are going to have to deal with as these guys have lived out their lives in front of their phones and cameras and those things. Like that's just kind of part of the process. And what you're trying to find out is what's more important to them, being famous because of how they performed, or being famous just because they're famous. And I would say that Travis is unique because he is famous for the things that he does on the field, and he is revered for the things that he's been able to do off the field, the dances, the sensation, or whatever. But I would say at his core, he is an ultimate high-end competitor who loves to excel at anything that he does. And there's not, look, I can't think of something that he won't jump in to compete in. And I think you always want those kind of competitors on your team. And the more the merrier when it comes to building a championship caliber team.
Yeah, it's fascinating, JP. I mean, I'm older than you are, obviously, but this is a case. I always try to make sure that I'm not completely, ignorant to what's going on with young players because I cover them, I want to be able to talk to them about that sort of thing. This is going to be fascinating because this is really an elite level athlete who, the 7-on-7 thing, 7-on-7 didn't even exist when I was covering high school football. Sure. And clearly it's a huge thing. But I mean, I think even older fans watching it are going to need to get used to the idea of, just because a kid's a social media sensation doesn't necessarily mean that there's not substance there on the field, right? I mean, I guess I'm getting that said. I mean, it's going to be a really cool story to watch, and I think when Gladstone, I keep on thinking over draft weekend when Gladstone talks so much about transforming the sport and transcending and what that's going to look like. And it's hard for somebody my age to think, well, he's going to change the sport. And the old man in me says, I've seen this and I'm not going to, But the sport's transforming. And maybe this is the first wave of what we're going to see. And it's not a bad thing, but we're going to see it play out in Jacksonville and how it affects the league and whether he can do it and whether this is what it's really going to look like. It could be a sea change moment.
I think it is going to be a sea change moment. And I think there's so many different touch points where he is going to be a major factor. I believe we're talking about locally. Travis Hunter is going to overshadow Trevor Lawrence in terms of star power, in terms of who is really the face of the franchise. And that's not being disrespectful to Trevor, but that's just what it's going to be because he's so electric and magnetic and charismatic because we heard him at the presser. All those kids locally are going to love and want to be the next Travis Hunter. That is going to create a thing in North Florida. Everyone plays two ways in high school, but now you're going to see more kids sign up to do the Travis Hunter type thing because they're going to see him every week. It's also going to create a thing at the high school and collegiate level across the country. If Travis Hunter has success as a two-way player, as a pro, other people are going to want to copy the model. They're going to be people that are going to want to sign up and play both ways in college, and that's going to create more two-way players at the NFL level. And much like we had to get used to the quarterback running the football and quarterback design runs and RPOs and all that stuff trickling up from high school to college to the pros, you're going to get an influx of these two-way athletes that begin to make their way in the league who ask to perform on both sides of the ball. And you're also going to find more coaches that are willing to let their players do it because you're going to have more trained two-way performers at the collegiate level show up.
Yeah, that's my question for you next, Bucky, is, how many places could Travis Hunter realistically have played two ways or been allowed to? And the answer might be two. Jackson State and Colorado with Dion. He was the one that really kind of pushed that and made sure that that's the focus for Travis Hunter. Now, moving ahead, I mean, if you're a college
coaches
coach,
will have to,
you're going to have to adapt to this, right? How do you adapt if you've been a college coach for so long and now you've got to change your stripes a little bit?
I guess so, but it's so crazy because coaching high school, like, man, you just want your best players to have the biggest impact on the game. And if you can get your best player and he has enough conditioning and skills to play on both sides, why wouldn't you tap in to that? So to me, I don't think it's as hard. Like, and I think, John, we've talked about this off air. Like, a lot of times coaches make it harder than what it is. Like, if you have someone that's really talented, it's not hard for you, JP, to go out there if you're coaching the Jaguars and be like, man, Travis Hunter's really talented. He making a bunch of interceptions and catching a bunch of passes.
Let's put him in the game.
Probably should find a way. We should probably find a way
Play the
to
guy.
put him in the game and play him. I think what you'll see is that the reason why I worked Jackson State, Colorado, is because you had the ultimate two-way player in Dion. Because Coach Prime did it in Dallas and did it successfully for a full season, playing both ways. He knows that it can be done, and once you've done it, you know that others can do it, and you kind of have a game plan. Now that Travis Hunter has been the second overall pick as a two-way player, and the Jacksonville Jaguars are openly talking about him playing both ways, it's a copycat league. You can see more guys express the sentiment to do it. I actually think it's a good thing, though, because when the Patriots did it with Troy Brown, it's different doing like a slot receiver and a backup. This is an opportunity for a star player to really do it on both sides. That is going to create more conversations at the lower ranks that, ooh, I want to do that. I want to play both ways. I want to do some different stuff. But we've had it before. We could have done it with Miles Jack back in the day because Miles Jack did it.
Yeah.
But we wasn't at a time where people fully embraced that. But Miles Jack was a two-way performer. So it's not like it hasn't been done before. We just haven't seen it done full-time at the pro level.
Yeah, and the other side of it, and this is not cynical John talking. This is just remembering something that Bucky may remember because I'm sure he followed this player. I remember in the 80s when I really started trying to learn football, the big thing was, hey, LT's changing the sport, right? LT's changing the sport, and you're going to see a million LTs. And remember, I think it was Parcells said about 15 years later, what we realized is he wasn't changing the sport, he was LT. and a million kids came along trying to be LT, and they finally went, okay, well, that was LT, and there's not going to be another one. So you do sort of wonder, is Travis Hunter an outlier? I kind of doubt it. I kind of think it plays more into what Bucky's talking about, that, for years, frankly, nobody thought a Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts could make it because they just didn't try that style. So my guess is this is much more like what Bucky was talking about earlier, where it's going to open eyes and they're going to say, oh, why haven't we been doing this before?
So what's the appetite, I guess, Bucky, real quick, for an average player on both sides of the ball to play two ways? Like, Travis Hunter could be a star on both sides of the ball, but if you're an average player, why don't you just pick a side?
Well, yeah, if you're an average player, that's where you have to have self-awareness, or you have to have a coach that can be honest with you and tell you, hey, man, that's not going to be your lane. Like, you're going to have to play this or that. I was going to say, like, coming on the heels of John's thing, how many defensive number 11s have we all of a sudden seen in the collegiate game, right? Like, all of a sudden, number 11 has become a very popular thing. Like, LeVar Arrington wore 11, and it was not a thing after that. Michael Parsons wears 11, and every kid known to man is now trying to wear 11. Like, I can't tell you how many guys in this draft class alone wore number 11 and talked about being the hybrid. Oh, I'm a hybrid. I'm an off-ball linebacker. I'm a pass rusher. I'm this. We now are openly talking about hybrid linebackers and those things. And so the league is funny because it is very copycat in nature. And if Travis Hunter has a lot of success, I can guarantee you're going to have guys knocking on the door. Hey, coach, I mean, I think that, I used to play such and such in high school. You get more of it. So I'm excited to see it because I've always believed that it could be done, but I think it has to be done in a very smart way. I don't think when we're talking about being a two-way player, we're talking about he's going to log every defensive snap and every offensive snap. I think what we're talking about doing is, hey, man, you're a star on offense, but we certainly can find situations to play you on defense where your skills can be maximized to help the team.
I would think there's going to be some conversation online. I'm trying to imagine had I gone in when I was in high school and I think Coach Howard, my basketball coach, was, hey, make the team first, big guy.
Yeah, that's right.
Let's make sure that your name's on that list that I'm going to put on my door on December 1st.
And when it comes to college, I can imagine some 5-star wide receiver at Alabama going up to Nick Saban's door and be like, hey, Coach, you mind if I take some defensive snaps? Oh, okay. Well, which 5-star defensive back are you going to take off the field?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be. There's definitely going to be some of that. But I mean, there was talk about, like, Caleb Downs had talked early in his career at Alabama how he wanted to play on both sides of the ball, and they kind of nixed it or whatever. But you're going to see more guys as part of their college recruitment maybe ask, hey, can I be a full-time player at one and the other?
Well, I think that's where it'll really turn into, Bucky, is like human nature is they're going to want to do it. Mm-hmm. And you know far more about the NIL landscape. Both of you guys do. But there's clearly going to be coaches who say, if I want to get this kid, I've got to do what he wants me. I mean, I've got to let him do what he wants to do. So it's already turned into
somebody else will.
Yeah. So that's probably where you'll see the players sort of take over the game for a stretch on that front. And then I assume it'll be a case of how long it lasts or how much it happens is how much it works, right? I mean, like if it works, it'll change the game.
I mean, look, we didn't take him, but J.J. Pegues at Ole Miss.
Yeah.
I call him the fat cat. He's a defensive tackle who is their wildcat quarterback. Like, can you imagine if at any point you let Tony Brackens play quarterback and run it in and also go sack the passer, like what that would have created in the locker room? Like, they're dudes who do that. And when we see it in different ways. But, shoot, the coach for the New England Patriots, Mike Vrabel, has like 11 or 12 touchdowns, receptions, being a tight end and short yardage. It can be done. We just have never seen anyone fully bake it and fully do it the way that we expect the Jaguars to do it for Travis Hunter.
I forget, that's a good one. Because he was a tight end at Auburn and then a defensive end. Good feet, too, man. The guy can run. It's amazing. He's like 330 pounds, John. It's ridiculous.
330 pounds. Running quarterback power.
Wildcat quarterback.
For Lane Kiffin.
Bucky would have played him.
And those guys.
Bucky would have played him.
I sure would have.
Find a way.
Find a way. We can put him in.
Find a way. Hey, the draft may be over, but, John, you know this. The hype is just getting started.
Oh, no doubt.
Celebrate with the official draft cap and don't miss your chance to match Travis Hunter and secure a limited edition hat in person at the Pro Shop, or head to shop.jaguars.com and get your exclusive draft cap today. It's Huddle Up with Bucky Brooks, JP Shadrick, John Oehser in Jacksonville, Bucky Brooks in Los Angeles. All right, let's move along to some of the other guys. There are some other draft picks on this team this year, 8 other ones. Bucky, who are you the most excited about of the other draft picks? There's, of course, Ransaw, Milam in the 3rd round, Tootin the running back, Kaiser the linebacker in the 4th, McLeod linebacker, and Lane the safety in the 6th, Monheim and Allen the 7th round picks. Which guy do you think will make the quickest impact to this Jaguars team?
Quickest impact. I would say that I am really intrigued by the running back Tootin. And the reason why I'm intrigued by him is he put down the fastest time in the combine, and that speed is real. And the explosiveness that you see from him at Virginia Tech shows up on tape. And even though we talk about a running back room being pretty loaded, like we're really excited last year with Travis Etienne and Tank Bigsby and those things, but this guy has a different level of juice. And just thinking about, because so much of what we're anticipating is either what we saw offensively from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers or what we saw from the Rams. I just know in utilizing the running game and being able to kind of have different running backs with different superpowers, how it can change the way that a defense has to defend. And with Travis Hunter on one side, Brian Thomas Jr. on the other side, Brenton Strange in the middle, I just can envision a speed back coming in and having plenty of room to navigate and run. And that's not a knock to Travis Etienne, who's shown he can be a big play running back at times. But Tootin's speed is at another level. And so when we talk about explosive plays and scoring points, the best way to score points is deliver explosive plays. And I just want to have as many explosive playmakers on the field as possible. He could be a guy very early in the season that becomes one of our more explosive playmakers.
Yeah, I think Liam Cohen laid it out as clearly as you can in a post draft presser. Not really trying to give away the game plan, but saying, look, he believes they're much more. I'm forgetting the word he used. Explosive was not it. Quick strike. And from looking at this and talking to people, I think they believe that they have. If they have Hunter, De'Ami Brown, BTJ, and Tootin on the field, I believe they believe that they've got guys who can score from 90 on any play. Now, that's a little extreme, but that, and I also think if you think about how the offense is going to look, Tank had some breakaway runs last year. And if Travis has been anything, he's been sort of a 1-2-15 guy, meaning he'll have a couple of short runs and he can pop it. I agree with Bucky. I think Tootin is going to be a major factor in this offense. I wouldn't be surprised if he's, I don't know how they're going to name him, but if he looks like RB1 at some point, that wouldn't surprise me. I'm kind of using Bucky language. He likes to say RB1. So
you got to categorize them. You got to know where they spring. The number matters.
But I think they think they're a lot faster, a lot more explosive, and exactly what you're talking about. If you think about an offense, Bucky and I talked yesterday a little bit about Travis Hunter, not necessarily a polished receiver, Bucky, but polished or not, if you're a defensive coordinator, in your last meeting with the team before the game, you're saying, hey, don't get beat by that. BTJ is the same way. You have to pay attention to both of those guys. I think you have to pay attention to De'Ami Brown's speed. And if you're paying attention to that, what can Hunter do? So This is the way a lot of offenses have been going. Teams have tried to get there. I think all teams sort of try to get there. Feels like the Jaguars are there, Bucky.
Yeah, it does feel like they're there. And I want to go all the way back to kind of like the origin of the Rams and those guys, because those guys were there at the beginning. And I remember when, whatever night it was Jared Goff and the Rams taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. It might have been in Mexico, or supposed to be a Mexico game. And people talked about that's the night that the NFL changed. It was like a high-scoring game and those things. And I remember looking on the field, and they had Brandon Cooks and Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp and Todd Gurley, and they were ripping and running up and down the field because those three wide receivers could get after it and they could score from anywhere. And then you had a running back that could make it happen from anywhere. And you basically just had a quarterback who simply needed to be a point guard. Get the ball to the open guy and get out the way. And in my mind, I feel like the Jags are trying to create an offense where Trevor just can be a point guard. He doesn't have to be a playmaker. He doesn't have to get outside of himself. Just get the ball to the open man. Let them do all the work. And that 2 or 3 yard pass to the flat becomes an 80-yard gain. And guess what? You get all the credit for an 80-yard pass. If they can create that kind of offense with those kind of explosive players on the perimeter, that's when it becomes fun for us to watch and very, very difficult for the defense to defend.
Got a couple of offensive linemen in the draft as well. Wyatt Milam will play guard. He's from West Virginia, the Big 12 Offensive Lineman of the Year a season ago. And then Jonah Monheim had played a couple of tackle spots in his earlier years at USC, but then last year moved into center. And he'll be a center for the Jaguars, 7th-round backup type. But depth on the offensive line, it was a theme all offseason. They added, 4 in free agency? And now 2 more in the draft, Bucky, and hell, they may not be done even now from here to the rest of this offseason if something pops up.
Look, man, the one thing that we all know is whenever you have change, a regime change, where you change the front office, you change the coaching staff, it creates a little tension and a little discomfort for everyone in the locker room because no one knows who's their guy or whatever. And whenever you do that, if it goes the way that you want, it really raises the level of competitiveness amongst the group. So when you draft 2 or 3 offensive linemen, no matter what they may say on the outside, everyone that is an incumbent is like, hey, whoa, why are we drafting all these people? I thought I'm good. Like, why are we bringing a guard in? Why are we bringing these tackles in? Like, what does this mean? And go in and you just treat everybody like they're nameless, faceless people, and you just say, hey, best players play. Well, now you make people have to earn their opportunities or whatever. To me, that makes the team better, and it should be like that. I know we're comfortable with training camp being one where it's only 2 or 3 positions on the line. To me, training camp is much better when everyone is kind of uncomfortable and not knowing if their roster spot is locked or not.
Yeah, JP, I'm sure you know where I'm going with this. Often, training camp is training camp competition is training camp competition in name only. And I get Ozone emails, hey, talk about competition, and there's not really going to be any competition. There's competition this year, and it's real. And if anybody thinks they know who's starting on the offensive line, I would say you're probably wrong. I would assume the 2 new guys, meaning Makari and Hainsey, because they were sort of targeted for those spots. But the incumbents, I mean, Wyatt Milam can play. I mean, they want a lot of these rookies to earn jobs. They're going to have to earn them, but there's no preconceived notion that Walker Little, Ezra Cleveland, Anton Harrison, they like those guys. They want those guys to start because it means they're playing at a high level.
Absolutely.
But they also want Milam to start. So I'm getting at there's no preconceived notion, but there's also no preconceived notion that they're going to start. And that lingers all around the roster. I wouldn't be surprised to see Ransaw start. I wouldn't be surprised to see Tootin in there quick. Because if you saw anything Bucky from the Rams last year, I think we talked about this yesterday, there's no qualm about playing low-drafted rookies very, very early. And there's no, we can't do this because of X. There won't be like when they're sitting around in a meeting room on September 2nd trying to figure it out, there's not going to be the naysayer in the corner saying, hey, remember, we can't do this because of this. It's, hey, did he win the job? Yeah. Well, let's roll.
And what I love about this, because what you're saying is whatever people are paid, doesn't matter. Best players play. And when you create a real meritocracy within the locker room, where guys legitimately know that if I outwork and outperform the people that are playing beside me, I'm going to have an opportunity to be in the starting lineup. That really changes the tenor of training camp. And it becomes very competitive. It becomes very tense because everyone is having to go for it, as opposed to a cushy training camp where the starters know that, hey, no one behind me is really competing for my job. The Rams have been very successful with the low-round picks and those things because the front office brings those guys in and they encourage their coaches. No. Play the best players, and we have to be very comfortable playing the low-round picks, the undrafted free agents, those guys who may not have the pedigree coming in, but they earn it on the field when they get their opportunity.
It's going to be an interesting season, JP.
No doubt about it. No doubt. And it's going to be an interesting season at Daly's place as well.
See, that's professional announcing right there.
Coming up in May. Teddy Swims, low tickets. Very few available for Teddy Swims, John.
Wow.
So you better act fast.
I will.
Kodak Black is in for T-Pain. That's May 31st. Styx, Kevin Cronin, Don Felder, June 2nd. Old Dominion, low tickets for that show, June 6th. Head to dailysplace.com for tickets and show information.
Styx, Kevin Cronin, and Don Felder is about my speed.
I could say so, yes.
All right. You can tune a piano, but you can't tune a fish.
Wow.
REO Speedwagon album. Bucky knows that.
Does he?
That was REO Speedwagon's best album.
Watch American Bandstand, JP. I know what's up.
Wow. Okay.
Come on.
Wow.
Like I grew up in that era. American Bandstand, Soul Train. I could live. I'm a chameleon. I could live in all kinds of worlds when it comes to music.
What was Don Cornelius was the Soul Train?
He's the best.
Soul Train.
The best.
Yeah, Soul Train. Yeah. So I can do that. That was a Saturday morning. I can do that.
People in Jacksonville know I'm talking about. I used to watch Soul Train, followed by professional wrestling from Jacksonville with Gordon Soley.
I was about to say that.
Saturdays, baby.
I didn't want to be
Saturdays in the South.
because coming up, Oh, look at a little Dusty Rose and a little Ric Flair.
Oh, yeah, the American dream.
Going into it. Mm-hmm.
Wow. One final thought. Reports today that the Jaguars will not take the fifth-year option on Devin Lloyd, former first-round pick. So obviously a big season coming up for Devin to prove some things in the last opportunity he's got, John.
Yeah, and a team not taking the fourth-year option on a guy. Fifth year, doesn't have to be the end of the guy's career.
Yeah.
He's going to get a chance. I expect him to compete with McLeod for what they're going to call the buck linebacker. I mean, it's a little different than the buck that McLeod played at Auburn, but it's the same sort of concept. Devin Lloyd's got talent. If I was the new regime coming in, I would have a tough time exercising a fifth-year option on him based on what we've seen.
Especially for $13 million.
But I wouldn't have a tough time after 8 weeks if he's playing super high level, saying, "Hey, Devin, let's talk about year 5 and 6." Yeah. I mean, I would think Devin Lloyd. I don't think that's a surprise, and I don't think that's an acrimonious move. I think it's just what we've seen.
Mm-hmm. So when Pete Carroll first took over the Seattle Seahawks, they had a thing right out front of the tunnel when they were about to run out in the stadium. It said, "Earn everything." I think everyone that is on the team, if they would just adopt that mindset, earn everything. Nothing's going to be given or whatever. It'll not only take the pressure off of what's going to happen next, but if you just go about, I'm going to focus on earning everything, then I don't have to worry about it. So my advice to Devin Lloyd, hey, man, go and earn the extension of whatever it is that you want. Start with the starting job, start with earning accolades, and then start with earning the contract. If he focuses on that, it'll work out, and the team will be better. So, look, it is what it is. I believe that the team is always better when there's a little uneasiness about who's going to be here and what's going to do it. When you make it country club-like, everyone gets complacent, and then we start falling back. A little competitive tension is good, so I'm excited about it.
I think you're going to have it.
Yep. Phase 2 is here. That's through May 15th, and then coming soon, Phase 3 OTAs, John's favorite part of the offseason.
Best.
Rookie minicamp, Thursday, May 8th through Saturday, May 10th. Could be some surprises around that coming out fairly soon, so stay tuned to all the Jaguars channels for that. So busy times. Bucky, appreciate your time as always. Pleasure to catch up with you. And what's your sweatshirt? What is that?
This is the high school. I had to come from morning workouts into the office. So this is Granada Hills Charter. Huh. That says football up under it. Uh-huh. and then we had a couple workouts. I had to lay down the law a little bit. We had to set some standards and some expectations. You know what it is.
Like, do you guys do like bat drills and stuff, all that stuff?
Something similar. We get after it early in the morning.
How they look? You gonna throw it all over the yard this year?
No.
Bucky's not a big throw it all over the yard guy.
He doesn't have the 5-star recruit quarterback? Okay.
I don't. If y'all don't mind me borrowing Travis Hunter, if I could have Trevor for like a few Thursdays, because I'll change the schedule, make it Thursday. I can have him back to you for the weekend. And if I could have Trevor and Travis, like, yeah, we'll be an aerial circus. And if you throw in BTJ, I'll take him too.
Okay.
Like we can have all kinds of fun.
You can coach a little bit with those guys at the high school level.
I mean,
look like a genius.
I've heard this from Nick Saban. Nick Saban said he learned he's a much better coach when he has better players. I think I'm gonna follow suit.
That's right.
What kind of offense you running, Buck? Real quick.
We may look like a pop. We may single wing that thing, snap it, and just run it down people's throats over and over and over again.
Was it a couple years you told me you ran like 4 or 5 plays the whole year?
Yeah, that works. A little simplicity. I think I've cut it down to 3 now. It was too much. We found out that the playbook was too big, had too many mistakes and too many errors. So we're gonna start out with 3. Power counter sweep. We'll see if we can expand from that.
I love it.
Bucky, we'll talk to you again next week and get an update on the off-season workouts, man. Appreciate it.
I can't wait, man. Talk to you guys.
Bucky See you guys.
Brooks in L.A., John Oehser, I'm JP Shadrick. Thanks to Joe Fortunato and Brent Reber, and thanks to you for watching and listening. It's Huddle Up with Bucky Brooks.